All right, we're going to get started here in just a moment. All right, well, my name is Joe Larson. I am the Program Director at Family Life Credit Services. I'm kind of the, I guess you would call me the webinar organizer. And I also have Gerald Croker on with me this evening. And so we're going to go ahead and get started on how can I repair my credit report. Obviously, that's a big issue these days. So before we get too far into it, though, I'm going to go ahead and just open us up with a word of prayer this evening and just ask for some wisdom. So let's pray. Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this time that we can gather around the country and just look to you for guidance, and that we can just be good stewards of our finances, Lord. I would ask that you would just be with us this evening. God, I pray that things would stick with us, that we could implement those in our life, and just be able to move forward without finances being a burden on us. And we give you this evening, and we ask these things in your name. Amen. So with no further ado, I think that's how you say it, I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to Gerald. Gerald, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Hello, everyone. My name, again, is Gerald Croker. I'm a certified credit counselor here with Family Life Credit Services, and I want to go through some information tonight on ways to repair your credit report. So let's get started. So getting started, first and foremost, this is a website that you can go to and get an absolutely free credit report. It's www.annualcreditreport.com. Now, how this website works is you are allowed to pull one free credit report from each of the 3 credit bureaus each and every year. So we're coming upon a new year where I tell a lot of people it's great if you can pull one free credit report. Start with TransUnion, Experian, Equifax, however you want to do it. It's good to, you can pull one from TransUnion. 4 months later, pull one from Experian. 4 months after that, Equifax. But it's important that you pull your credit report at least once a year. Now, you will receive your free credit report. However, your FICO score will not be included in here. What that will do is they will actually, I believe it's $10 is what they will charge you if you want to get your actual FICO score. But however, don't necessarily worry about your FICO score. You want to get your credit report just to make sure things are looking correct on there. Now, I supplied phone numbers to each of the 3 credit bureaus, but I also want you to know that if you throw a www dot in front of each name, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, you can go directly to their website. So why should we pull our credit report? Well, number one reason is you want to check for errors. Almost 80% of credit reports are inaccurate, and that is a crazy high number. So you definitely want to check. Now, there's minor issues with credit reports. For example, maybe your name spelled wrong, address incorrect, and then there's major credit, issues on your credit report. Knowing your credit history, you want to check for identity theft. You can check your FICO score, and like I mentioned, when you pull from annualcreditreport.com, it will not give you your actual FICO score, but FICO scores range anywhere from 300 to 850. And credit reports, basically they equal your financial report card. Like it or not, we all have a credit report. Now, the first thing I want to mention when we get into the credit reports are judgments and liens. Now, public information should be priority number 1. You definitely want to take care of judgments and liens first and foremost, because it stays on your credit report for up to 7 years. And unfortunately, you may have to seek some legal advice to resolve these. But for the most part, if you do have a tax lien or a judgment, you can go down to your local courthouse and get payment arrangements established and set up. However, like I mentioned, cleaning these up first will allow you to begin reestablishing your credit. And it may take time to get these resolved, but if you stick with it, you want to basically just get them paid off and removed from your credit report so, again, you can start reestablishing your credit. Or I should say, repairing your credit report. So again, satisfy any judgments or liens that may be on your credit report. Then you want to make sure that you're bringing all your accounts current. You may see collection accounts on there. A lot of people today are dealing with collection agencies. Now, collection accounts can also stay on your credit report for 7 years. However, paying them off will show a zero balance and looks much better on your credit report. These also will take time. But one thing I always like to mention is sometimes when you look at collection accounts on your credit report, it can become overwhelming. You may have a lot on there. So really focus your attention on maybe one or possibly two at a time, where you really focus on getting those taken care of. And once they're paid off and done with, then you can move on to the next one. Now, I know that collection agencies can call and drive you crazy, but the thing about it is you need to let them know that you are working on other accounts right now, on other creditors that you need to get taken care of, and as soon as they're resolved, you will be contacting them to set up a payment arrangement and get them taken care of. A lot of the times with collection agencies, they will offer you a settlement amount. They will be, let me give you an example, a $1,000 debt. They may say, you know, we'll take $550 and we'll settle that debt. Now, a couple of things on this. If you do settle the debt, obviously, the best thing about settling your debt is that it saves you money. When you save yourself money, that's great. However, there's a couple of things about this. Saving yourself money also shows a negative mark on your credit report because it shows that you actually settled for less than what you owed. However, there's different circumstances with each individual. Because you want to take care of these creditors, it's okay to settle the debt. Even though you're going to have that negative mark showing that you settled for less than what you owe, it really depends on what you're settling for. If you get a good settlement amount, if you owe thousands of dollars and you're able to save yourself thousands of dollars, well, maybe it's a good move to settle that debt just so that it's taken care of. Time will begin to repair your credit report. Now, maybe it's $800 and they say, well, we'll settle for $700. Well, to be honest with you, maybe it's not a bad idea just to pay that full $800 so that you don't have that negative mark on your credit report. But again, it takes time. Be patient and persistent. Improving your credit report. Become current. Stay current. You probably are starting to see a common theme here. By keeping current and paying your bills on time, it shows responsibility of your debts. It's very important that you get current and that you're staying current. Paying more than minimums. Now, what I mean by this is great for credit cards, lines of credit, maybe even vehicle loans. When you make more than the minimum payment, what you're able to do is put that additional money, whether or not it's $5 or $50, towards the principal balance. It helps your credit report as well by putting in additional money. Now, if you can only make the minimum payment, that's okay. Just make the minimum payment because you're staying current and you're making sure payments are being made. But if you ever can make more than a minimum, it'll go directly towards principal and you'll be able to get that debt resolved a lot faster. Next one is make a purchase and pay it off. This is a great way to improve your credit report. Now, I always like to use credit cards as an example because credit cards, if you go and open up a credit card, a major credit card or a gas card, a department store card, what you want to do is put an amount on there that you know you'll be able to pay off each and every month. Okay, so let's use a gas card, for example. You go and fill up the tank, you put $50 on it. That gas card comes in, the statement comes in, shows $50 is what you owe. If you pay that $50 in full, the full amount, it's a great way to improve your credit score. And not only that, it keeps interest and fees away because it's showing a zero balance each and every month. It's one of the best ways to raise your credit score when you get all other things cleaned up. It might not be a bad idea to go and get a credit card and do this. Continuing on with improving your credit report. Prioritize. And what I mean by prioritize is you need to make sure, to pay your secured debts first. Mortgage or rent, vehicle payments, student loans, regular monthly obligations like utility bills should always be paid first because the last thing you want to do is fall behind on these types of payments to repay old debts or even collection accounts sitting on your credit report. that would do you no good. You want to make sure you're staying on top of all of your regular monthly obligations before you go and start cleaning your credit report up. Because what will happen if you fall behind on those payments, like a mortgage or vehicle or student loans, that's only going to get back on your credit report and hurt you still. So there's no reason to do that to yourself. Secured credit cards. Now, secured credit cards are also a great way to begin repairing your credit report. Now, what they offer is it does require a starting deposit. They can do anywhere from $200 to maybe $500, where you can contact any major credit card, Chase, Bank of America, American Express, whoever it may be. You can do it possibly at a local bank where you would give them a deposit of, we'll just say $200. Now, what this does is it acts like a debit card, because unfortunately debit cards are not reported on your credit report unless they're negative. And we'll get into that here a little more in a second. But a secured credit card will have a deposit on it where, again, you'll make the payment each and every month when you do get the statement. So it acts just like a credit card, but it reports on your credit report as a credit card. And what happens is if you maintain that secured credit card properly, they will turn it into an unsecured credit card, and that is a great way to establish credit. Another thing is showing stability. Showing stability in employment, residency, personal finances, like your checking or savings account. Lenders like to see that. Keeping your credit report in good standing. Here it is again. Pay bills on time. Now, paying your bills on time, 30 days past due will show up negatively on your credit report. So credit cards, again, are a good example. If you are 30 days past due, I guarantee they will be showing up on your credit report. So paying your bills on time is very important because you basically want to show that you're maintaining your debt properly. But again, if you owe in and you look at bills and, oh my goodness, we're 5 days past due, it's okay, get that payment in. As long as you're in before that 30 days past due, it will not report on your credit report. Keep debt to a minimum. What I mean by this is you just need to keep your debt to a minimum. Okay, mortgage payments, vehicle payments. A good example here for people who buy new homes is they have to go out and buy other things, furniture, window furnishings. You might have to buy a snowblower or a lawnmower. You want to keep your debt to a minimum. Baby step it is what I like to tell my clients. Don't bounce checks. We're already starting to see the repercussions of this. Gas stations, restaurants aren't even taking checks anymore. It's very important that you do not bounce checks because they will definitely end up on your credit report, and it costs a lot of money to get them taken care of. And you get charged fees from your bank, and you just don't want to do it. Monitoring your inquiries. Now, an example here on what I mean by this is it's Christmas time. A lot of people are out shopping. Now, when you go to a department store and you walk up to the counter with your purchase, one of the first things they say to you is, hey, would you like 10 or 15% off your purchase today? Well, as good as it sounds, and all of us like to save money, if you say yes to that, and who wouldn't like to save 10, 15% off their purchase? What you're really saying, though, is yes, you can go and pull my credit report. Now, it's important to let you know that you're giving them authorization to go pull your credit report, and when they do that, you're taking a credit hit. So be very careful about your inquiries. You could probably ruin your credit in an afternoon. Whether or not you even get that credit card from the department store, you're still taking a hit because they need to go and pull your credit report. Maintain 3 or 4 open accounts. And here are just some of the open accounts that you can maintain: a mortgage, car loan, and student loan, credit cards, department store cards, line of credit or personal loan. Again, don't overextend yourself. Maybe 2 or 3 accounts is a good thing to maintain. Maybe 1 or 2, depending on your situation. But as long as you're maintaining your accounts, you are increasing your credit score, your FICO score, each and every month. Now there's individuals I talk with that have no credit history. And this usually applies to the younger individuals that have not yet established any credit. And so a big thing that's happening right now, talking with a lot of lenders, is they're looking at what's called non-traditional credit. And what non-traditional credit is, it's bills that are not reflected on your credit reports. So it would be things like your utility bills, Let's see if we can get that up there. Utility bills, cell phone, your cable or dish networks. What's happening here is when people don't have a lot on their credit reports, lenders can contact the utility companies, the cable companies, your cell phone companies, to see if you have been doing a good job making payments. So cell phones, almost everyone has a cell phone these days. They can call up your cell phone provider and ask, has Mr. or Mrs. Smith been making payments on their cell phone? Oh yes, they've been with us since 2006 and have never missed a payment. That is a check in the positive. Things can be looked at with non-traditional credit. And basically, non-traditional credit can be viewed by lenders to find out how well you've been maintaining your debts. Cash is still king. Obviously, paying with cash, pretty simple. There's no interest. There's no fees involved. You make your purchase. You go home happy. Only downside about paying with cash, it has no impact on your credit report. Now, paying with debit cards or checks, no interest here either. There may be some small fees required. The only impact your credit report will have with checks are if you bounce them or you have insufficient funds. Paying with credit cards. Well, we all know that there's interest and fees involved with those. And the thing about credit cards is they can positively and negatively affect your credit report. A lot of people obviously know that credit cards can be very bad, but they can also be very good in helping you, again, maintain credit, like I spoke earlier about, where you get a credit card and you're paying off that balance each and every month to build. All right, disputing credit report information. It's actually a lot easier than you think it is. If you find any errors, you can dispute this in a few different ways. First way, you can write a letter and or dispute the information online. Now the second one is what I usually recommend. If not the second one, the first and second one, do both. Disputing information online is simple. You pull from annualcreditreport.com, you see something on your credit report that does not look right. Now again, there's 3 credit bureaus. There's TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Depending on the one you pull from and see an error, you go to Experian, www.experian.com, and there's going to be a dispute button that will take you through the procedure to dispute something. Again, it's very simple to do, and you will be surprised at how often things are taken off. Now, of course, you do not want to dispute something that you know is your debt. However, it is important that if you see something, definitely dispute it online, and you can write a letter. Last thing is you can call. Now, calling to ask questions on how to fix your credit report is the last thing I recommend because, of course, on the phone you may sit on hold for a little while. Something to let you know is it usually takes 30 days to process a dispute and or correct any mistakes. And the last thing I want to talk about are credit repair agencies. We get a lot of phone calls. People calling us saying, you know, I'm thinking about going with a credit repair agency. You know what? Save your money and fix the problems yourself. It's, again, a lot easier than you think to do. And really, these credit repair agencies, there's really no such thing because you yourself are the only one that can really fix the problems on your credit reports. Now, this has been a quick synopsis on how to repair credit reports. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to put on my email address. For any questions, concerns, anything you may have, please feel free to email me. Gerald at familylifecredit.org. I promise I will email you back with information. Otherwise, if you'd like to give me a call, please feel free to call me at 1-800-747-9307. Ask for Gerald, or my extension is 104. I'd be happy to talk with you about your personal situation, questions or concerns, and go through some information to help you get on track. One thing that I did not mention and wanted to end with is make sure you're budgeting. Okay, budget your money so that when you want to go and start repairing your credit report, you can determine a certain dollar amount each and every month that you can put towards this old debt that you're dealing with. Because again, you don't want to fall behind on any of your regular monthly expenses to repay old debt. I thank you very much. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Joe?
All right. Well, Gerald, I appreciate your time tonight and just sharing your wealth of knowledge with us. So, yeah, like Gerald said, anybody have any questions, don't hesitate to give Gerald a call or shoot him an email, and he'll get back to you. All right. Next month, the webinar topic will be how to find a better job. So tune in. You should see that posted on our website as well as via email. So thank you. Have a blessed night.